And I'm Tracey White.
And I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, and this is the Compass Conversation Podcast. Right, Morey?
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 Okay.
Morey? We will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus.
And we're back!
Yeah, we're back! Okay, alrighty then. Well, looks
Morey's
like
sick.
Morey's sick tonight. But Morey's here.
But Morey's here.
That's right. And
we
so
stole his likeness.
we stole. It's a really good likeness, I think, as well. And so Morey's got his bass represented in his face.
Yeah.
Bass in his face.
Basically.
to represent
goodness.
Morey White.
That's funny.
Oh, we miss you, man. We hope you're watching.
Yeah, bro.
But you're here. And I know you probably have a word or two for us, right, Morey? John 3:16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, bro.
All right,
Fist
boy. Looks like we're punching.
Whatever.
It was for our fist bump.
Oh.
Well, this is Morey, so this is the first.
Yeah, I know.
We knew the day would come.
Well, I mean, I'll be out the next couple of weeks too.
Oh, that's true. Even for the podcast, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Maybe we can bring in another guest host.
That would be great.
So just somebody
Excellent.
from our church, not necessarily our
Yeah.
wives or anything, but I can
Maybe Ben will come by.
I was gonna say maybe bring Ben in
Or any of the wives would be just fine, So
That's a good idea.
I think
I like
it is
that
too.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you doing, Tracy?
I'm doing okay. Still got this drainage thing going on. I feel great, and I'm 50 push-ups from meeting my 100 push-up goal for the day. But whatever.
You're a beast, man.
That'll be easy enough. But this phlegm and just that every now and then having a cough but
Well, as I said,
otherwise.
I'm doing that tonight too,
Yeah.
because as you know, I've gained 8-10 pounds since like October or something. Well, thanks. That's nice. I actually went for my annual physical recently, and I was thinking, oh man, he's going to really be all over me. And he said, well, they discovered that I had gained 6 pounds since I had seen them last. All right.
Okay.
But the difference is, the problem is what they don't know is I'd actually lost weight.
Yeah.
Because I was supposed to lose 10 pounds.
Was that when we were running last summer?
Probably.
Pretty consistently.
It was actually before I started job 2 at the school, and I had more time. So today, all right, so here's the thing. Today, I decided enough of this. I have no more excuses. I know I don't have any time, but you have to just carve in the time to do what needs to be done, right?
Yes.
I know you do. Right? You're still working, you're doing push-ups.
I am, but I'm not doing the cardio.
That's all right. But what I'm saying is this. So today, as I was telling you, I came home, I had a short window of time. I thought, all right, before I pick up the owner, she was going to go to work at she's going to work at Planet Fitness tonight, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to run. So I put on the stuff, I'm still wearing them now, and I ran a mile. Dun, 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 dun. It was harder than I wanted it to be. That's right. But it was easier than, I was expecting. So, once you get to running, you
Good for you.
So I came back, and Leona, it was time now to pick her up from Planet Fitness. So I give her a call, and she goes, I got a surprise for you. I said, from Planet Fitness? And she went, yeah. And then there was a silence. She goes, I'm just going to let that hang in the air. She said, okay. So anyway, so I get there, and this is so funny to me. This Planet Fitness, there's the no judgment zone workout place.
Right.
Once a month or once a week, I don't know what it is, but they have like pizza.
Oh, wow.
So Leona grabbed 3 pieces of pizza, and so I had just run the mile, and I'm starving, and I ate every calorie back up I had burned.
You have to replace it somehow.
Oh,
It doesn't replace itself, John.
So, what an irony, right? It's become Planet Fitness pizza in my mouth. Right?
Oh my goodness, as long as it's not all you can eat. Because in all you can eat situations, You have to.
That's right.
You know, you can
eat until you almost die. What do you think, Morey? John 3:16. That's right.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
It's creepy having Morey here with us in this way.
No,
We should have FaceTimed him in or something.
I don't know. He's got the stomach bug that Julie had.
Oh,
yesterday,
I'm glad he's not here then.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say is that now I'm coughing because anytime I run and it's cold,
Oh, yeah.
and I haven't run in a while,
Right.
I'm kind of starting just that.
So, and that's why I don't do cardio whenever it's cold, because it physically hurts.
Oh, yeah.
My ears get to hurting so bad. I've tried earplugs. It doesn't really matter. If I breathe really heavy and do a cardio workout when it's cold, it physically hurts. So I avoid it.
I understand. For me, it's usually just when it's the first time after I haven't done it in a long time.
Yeah.
But then I get in the rhythm and I like it. Of course, like I've told you before, I like running in the cool because it's like air conditioning.
Well, you know me, I
like
the heat.
It's cool air in my face.
Yeah.
I've run in the rain, I've run in the snow.
Well, I've got a treadmill, so I really
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Well, all right. Well, it's been fun. But I need to say, excuse me, I'm sorry and I'm thankful for you for Sunday. Because like we said, sometimes you're born for greatness, other times it's thrust upon you.
Yeah.
So you stepped out there. I had to leave because I left the worship guides at home. The secretary left them, and the secretary, of course, is me. So I've been doing that a lot lately, as we can. So anyway, so I had to run back, but I knew we had the right window of time. I knew it wouldn't put us really running behind because we build in that first 5 to 10 minutes of conversation time and that.
Sure. Yeah.
So I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I'm really not sorry because I completely believe in you.
Well, thank you.
You were the man.
So I enjoyed it.
Led us in prayer, got the first things going.
I did. I got to play Johnny for a little while.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. No, I can't say I did it as well as you, but no, it was really neat to have the opportunity.
Yeah.
To spin things up and everything. I hadn't been really used to speaking in public at all.
I thought about this after the fact that I had you do something up in front of everybody.
No, see that I'm okay with that. I never did before I became a first sergeant in the Air Force, and then I was kind of forced to do it.
Yeah.
So I kind of got used to talking to a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But I'm most comfortable whenever I know exactly what I'm doing. So when there's no preparation for it, it's a little hit or miss. But I don't know. It's kind of like the podcast. So I hope I didn't disappoint.
No, I heard you did great. So, and it's always good to have somebody besides me talking. That's a win. That's always a win. Even if you do stumble or bumble.
Yeah.
Right? So it made me feel good that I knew everything will be fine for these few minutes I'm away.
Yeah.
Tracey will get us going, and besides, you just got this great. I mean, can we talk about this? Your promotion? Did you? That thing
after this weekend, let's talk about.
We'll talk about the possibility that you may have done something good.
Yeah.
Forget everything. I'll edit this out.
Right. It doesn't matter.
What do you think, Morey? John 3:16. Okay. Thanks, Morey.
Aye.
Okay, I know it's weird, but anyhow. Well, hey, let's. What do you want to talk about?
I liked the lesson yesterday. I liked the verses that we read, even though it was what was it?
I had the 101.
Yeah, John. Was it first? No, that wasn't the first John one. It was John 15:5, right?
Yeah, and it's
not the 15:15.
Yeah, whatever I had.
Although I can't wait to get to that because that one's kind of cool too.
It is, and it ties things together. Of course, we were starting. Oh wow.
Well, we were continuing on the whole fruit of the Spirit. Yeah. We even had a little discussion on is it fruits of the Spirit or fruit of the Spirit?
That's right. The fruits.
Yes. So that was a little bit of a thing. But we had a couple of new people there, and they helped us decide it was fruit of the Spirit. So.
That's true. You have to come and visit to help us out.
That's exactly right. Sometimes we need help with grammar.
Yeah. And you may be watching, so that's right.
Yeah.
let's see, it was Bob and Joy.
Bob and Joy. Yeah.
Hi guys, if you're watching, shout out to the podcast.
Yeah.
Said they watched the podcast and still came to church. That made me so happy.
Yeah.
Still came visit, keep them away.
That's great. I enjoy seeing. And we did have a few people out. You know, Julie was out for sick.
Yeah, right.
Annette was out because she was sick.
Yep, Annette.
And Jaden, not sure where she was.
Not sure where she was, but I also know that Chris was out of town.
Yeah.
So just a number of things, a lot of hits, but it's going to happen. The big day is
one of these days. Everybody's going to
be there. Everybody's going to go, whoa, this is a bigger church than I thought it was.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
Everybody's going to break at the same time.
Sunday.
There's my appeal. My appeal out to anyone listening.
Yeah.
Let's all get there on the same day. So, so that's an exciting thing because we're getting ready for Easter.
Right.
And talking about some plans for that.
Yep.
Somehow we're going to meld two of our fun things, great things. We did church, Easter at the table last year. Fantastic. Loved that vibe and everything. So we're going to mix that vibe with Big Sunday vibe. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually thinking, I don't think we've talked about this. You can tell me your thoughts on it.
Okay.
That we set up with tables, not just one table, but tables, and actually do our Big Sunday with everybody at tables. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Just chew it around. And I don't want it to come across like a banquet.
Yeah. Which is our annual awards banquet, Air Force, this weekend, which is why Kathy and I will be out.
That's why you guys will be out. That's right. If you're visiting this Sunday, Tracy will not be there.
Neither will Kathy.
So I'll have to.
This is like
you've got to be there.
It's the one that she gets to go with me. And we get to dress up all formal and everything. It's really cool.
So if there is a crisis, then I'll have to probably call on Morey. John 3:16. All right. Thanks, Morey.
He'll do it too. He's good at that stuff.
Oh my gosh. Anyhow, there was something else about thinking through some things to do that we have coming up, and I've just kind of gone blank on some ideas. One thing I would love to see happen, though, and I'll just say this on the podcast, and you don't have to answer now because it's on the podcast,
okay?
Right? And it's like pulling you in front of everybody asking you to do something.
Put
me on the spot.
Hey, I'm all right with it.
I'll tell you what I want to see happen. This would be fun.
Okay.
And you can say no later.
Okay.
Just say, okay, I'll chew on that. I would love to see at a base camp gathering, sometime within the next 3 months, that we do the teaching. And again, just for clarity, for anybody who's not seen the podcast, Tracy, you're not on staff. You're not like one of the pastors at our church or anything like that. Yeah. Morey isn't either. You guys are just my right and left arms.
You're the staff.
I'm the staff. But you guys are awesome to be the world to me. And so I would love to see us do a Sunday, and maybe over 2, where we study together, preparing a lesson. Don't get nervous. And I might have a couple of points. And we work on it together.
Yeah.
All right. We kind of plow through, and you tell me, pray through this bit, and I'll tell you kind of where we want to go, and what's on my heart about it. You study it. We get together, and then we kind of walk through what we could teach from that, and maybe a story you have from your life or an illustration that comes through. And so I get up and I do point 1, and then I say something along the lines of, and so now I've asked Tracy to
testify.
Testify. Amen, preacher, parson. Our plants. People to say things at the right time. Amen. But then you come up, and I've asked Tracy to share a little bit on this next one. You come in for 5 to 10 minutes or something, some segment.
Yeah.
You work through the things we've already talked about, and you share that, and you get that. So that's what I think. All right, thanks, Tracy. I come up and I wrap it up.
That sounds good. I'm warm to that idea.
Yeah, oh, good.
Morey, what do you think?
As long as it's John 3:16. All right, thanks, Morey. I think Morey could do it as well.
Oh, yeah.
And not just Morey, but there's some others in our church.
Sure
I just want to give you guys that opportunity, even though you're not, like I said, pastors, you're not the preachers.
Yeah.
it's just so good and healthy to see what God's doing among the people in our church.
I agree.
And that would be an easy way to do it without just saying, hey, could you preach next Sunday?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. Johnny.
Okay.
We should work on that. Yeah.
All right, there you have it. You heard it here first.
So we'll have to get
Behind the scenes.
on the calendar to see what Sundays are actually.
Which ones are actually going to be open?
Because Kathy,
That's right.
Well, I'm going to be gone like between now and May.
Well, here's the thing.
6 Sundays.
So here's the thing, and this is where I roped you unfairly. So if someone's watching this podcast, then that means when they see you,
yes.
they go, hey, I'm looking forward to that day that you're going to do that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too.
You had no idea I was going to say that. Just for clarity. I thought it'd be a fun thing to just spring on you.
I think it's great.
I thought it'd be fun even if you said, no way, man, what are you, nuts?
I wouldn't do that.
All right.
Well, like you said, you roll it over in your brain a little bit, and but I mean, I warmed up to it as soon as you started talking about it.
I just am very excited. I think it would be fantastic. I think you guys are both. And again, none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. I mean, we're your sinners, and we're together here, and God's put us in different roles to encourage each other, to grow, and all that.
Yeah.
And I know I have an extra responsibility and all of that, but this is part of my responsibility. It's helping develop.
It's pastoring.
Oh, is that what that's called?
Yes.
Pastoring.
And so I think that's a really good natural kind of progression. Again, and I think I've said it before. Grew up in a church home and everything, but always learning. Yeah. And what I really enjoy so far about this year is this the spiritual journey, right? And how we're and it's less. I mean, it's important where we start, but it's really important that you're progressing, right?
Absolutely.
That you're taking these steps. That your sin is bothering you. That you have a growing love for others.
You're making me so proud.
And that you're displaying and growing fruit of the Spirit.
Yes.
So
rock on.
And no matter where we start that journey, there's always forward progression in it.
Yeah.
And
yes.
And it's exciting
exactly
to me
right.
personally because it's got me looking at these things and that we're going over, and it's like I've gone over this at different times throughout my life.
Sure. But
this is really cool stuff. It's really neat to kind of refocus in on your forward progression, your journey.
It is. And again, there are a number of things that might make somebody who is a Christian sort of lose their momentum and their growth. There's so many things. One, of course, is not caring about people. We've talked about that growing love for others. But a huge one is not fleshing out in your real life the things that you have been learning in your head.
Yeah.
When you really put it into like the bones of your week, and then you start setting goals and you start seeing things and you can start measuring progress. It also adds just a jolt of wow. God still as alive today as he was back when I was a kid, maybe when I was learning, and
it's
just waiting for me to come on.
It's a nice renewal, and then these ideas of stepping out even further in that service, to the church, not Compass Church, but the church.
Well, it's both, really.
Yeah,
it's a local church, and
and
body of
hopefully
Christ
help affect
universal.
the community. I mean, I think that's a good. Continuation of that.
I do too.
So that's why I really appreciate that idea, and I'm very warm to it.
Very warm to it.
Yes.
That's gonna happen. That's what that means.
Okay.
All right, so
Right, bro?
right, Morey? I can't even do it. Oh, he'll be happy we kept saying John 3:16.
I know. I love my brother, and I'm sad that he's feeling ill.
I am too.
But I know what that's like, and especially a stomach bug. So feel better, bro.
Feel better.
Feel better.
I like that his base is sitting here.
I know. We have to have
Face and face.
his representation.
The face and the face. Well, it seemed like it was something else. And again, this is what this is kind of what I like about this podcast, because I feel like anybody who's watching our conversation podcast should get like a little extra behind the scenes, should get kind of some of the things that are twirling around in our idea boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
Some of them will come to fruition, some won't, but I thought we can be kind of a part of the journey even before you're a part of the journey.
Yeah.
Another idea I just want to toss out here. I know some people are like, "You guys having some kind of staff meeting, right?" I'm like, no.
Because we have a staff of one.
I have staff meeting all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Anyhow, we talked the whole first part of the year. We talked about prayer.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's that pizza. After running.
I hope you don't have this stomach, but
no,
stay back. I'm just getting over the head thing.
No, I'm good. And I started thinking about this. We have the school building. God has just worked out some things, so as you know, that makes the availability of the school a lot higher. I mean, a lot more open. There's so many options for us now.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that, what do you call it? The faculty, it's not faculty break room. What am I talking about? The teacher's lounge.
Yes.
Faculty break room.
Close enough.
The faculty break room. Anyhow, there's some tables in there that let me just put it this way. I've been thinking that it would be great, maybe not every Sunday, but maybe before Big Sunday, and then eventually maybe every Sunday, that we have the invitation to anyone who wants to join us, where the setup is all done and all that kind of stuff, but we can pray together for the service, for our church, for the community, before the service starts. So like maybe 30 minutes ahead of time, and we meet in that room and we have some extra snacks or something.
That'd be great.
So anyway, there you have it.
I like it.
A little behind the scenes stuff. And we haven't talked about like outreach stuff that's coming.
Oh, I know, and I'm looking forward to that because we normally start getting outside more.
Looking forward to getting back outside.
Doing our Serve Sundays and all that, so that's going to be great.
Here is some more behind the scenes stuff. This has become a behind the scenes podcast.
Behind the scenes with Johnny Leckie and Tracey White. And Morey.
And Morey White.
And Morey White.
I don't know if you can see this. You know what he's saying? Can you see that little speech bubble?
It says John 3:16.
That's what it says. All right. So.
Oh man.
Look it up. Read it again. That's what he can say.
Yes. It is. We joke about that, but I mean,
it's so powerful.
It is really good. Yeah.
It is sort of the heart behind our church in so many ways.
Sure.
You know, God loved the world so much, He gave His one and only Son, that whoever would believe in Him would not perish but have everlasting life. That's amazing good news.
We read a passage this Sunday out of 1 John 5. And I can't remember the verse, but I think it's like 7 or 8 or something like that. You have it up? I have my stopwatch.
Is it 15?
No, because 1 John only has 5 chapters. 1 John.
This is okay.
But it had to do with the fruits, but the rest of the context there has to do with love and God's love for us and how we should love each other.
All right, how about this one?
Because,
How about this? Let's try that. I didn't mean to interrupt you. But
No.
I really think I think it's actually not 1 John. I think it is John 15. 9 and 10. Well, let me read it. You tell me.
Okay, all right. The one I was thinking of.
All right, maybe this is it, maybe it isn't.
Okay.
All right, this is true. This is typical conversation part.
Yes, I like it.
As the Father has loved me, I have also loved you. Remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in His love. Then He says, I have told you these things so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete. Is that the verses? Those are verses you were thinking, or is it?
That's great, and I remember because we read that too. But that's not the one that.
That's not it. Those are the ones that tie those first two fruit of the Spirit, love and joy, together right there.
Right.
All right. You might want to scroll forward on the podcast by just a few seconds. This is the part where we were looking at, trying to find what he was talking about.
Oh my goodness.
Could it be?
I was pretty sure it was 1 John 5.
1 John 15. Okay, I got it. This is the most exciting part of the podcast.
I thought I had written it down, but I didn't, because I'm thinking it was one of my verses.
Well, what was the gist of it? Maybe I can find it for you real quick.
Spirit, what about that?
1 John 4:8.
Maybe it was 4:8. What's that one?
I just have it as one of my references here.
Oh, that's probably it.
Well, let's find out.
Maybe I was
1 John 4:8.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming to the podcast. And while we're looking this up, we're going to switch cameras for just a minute. John 3:16. That's John 3:16.
Whoever does not love God does not know God, because God is love. This is how God showed us His love among us. He sent His one and only Son into the world that we might live through Him. This is love. Not that we loved God, but that He loved us and sent His Son as an atoning sacrifice for our sins.
Oh, okay.
It's like Morey was reading it there. That was it. That was the verse that I was thinking of right there.
Okay.
Talked about God's love and everything, which is, that it's amazing. It's not God sitting there going, okay, if you love me,
right,
then I'll show you some love. No, God loved us first. Imperfect, right? Broken sinners. Yet He still loved us.
Yeah, He doesn't love those things about us, but He does love us.
Right.
He came to fix and help us with those things.
He did. So.
Yeah, that's
Thanks
right.
for clarifying. You didn't love that stuff.
In case anybody was wondering.
He doesn't love the sins of the flesh, but He loves the sinner.
Oh man. Yeah.
That's not permission to do anything.
They call me Captain Obvious. Anyway, well, that came about as that verse even came about as we began to look at the fruit of the Spirit.
Yeah.
As we're walking by His Spirit, we're not going to do those deeds of the flesh. And this is the stuff that is produced. It's the harvest. It's the result of living by God's Spirit. And the first one was love. And so the reason that is a great reference to talk about that love is because that love being talked about is not like romantic love or love for family.
Right.
It's agape, the Greek word agape. It's God's kind of love, that unconditional, amazing.
It's the kind of love that you show your children when they are really, really on your nerves. Ooh. And you don't like them at the time.
But you love them.
But you love them.
You can't love them. It's even bigger than that.
Yes,
but that's a good illustration.
Yeah.
That's a very good illustration. All right, well, cool. Yeah, and it was the other verse that ties together the love and the joy.
The other thing that I wrote this down, enjoy your vegetables. No, that's not.
Enjoy your vegetables.
Oh, well, the question was about
that was the Greek.
It was.
What was your...
No, something that you said that I thought, and this is a paraphrase, don't let another person discourage your belief.
Oh.
That was kind of in
This was at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right. There were, I'm not going to call these guys out. There are a couple of guys who I have just loved for years. They're comedians, they create funny videos, and they've been, I felt very safe with them, us watching them as family and stuff, because they are professing Christians. Mm. Well, in the last few years, their company and everything's just grown really big. Their net worth is like $23 million or something now, the two of them in their business. And just a lot of things happened. Well, anyway, they did a podcast recently where they kind of, they called it deconstructing their faith, and they talk about their experiences that they've had as being a part of the church and Christians, and how they've kind of begun to walk away and back away from it because of a couple of things that they disagreed with or didn't see how it really worked. And they're the kinds of questions that tons of people have wrestled with for hundreds of years.
Right.
And it just seems as if they had just sort of flippantly, kind of backed out without really exploring it farther, talking with more people. And so they just were a huge disappointment to me. And there's been a backlash to them, as you would expect.
Yeah.
And they should expect as well. But there are mean Christians out there.
Well, sure.
Who don't act, they don't act like Christians to someone who's struggling with their faith.
Those are the loud ones.
Those are the loud ones, and I'm not for them at all. That's terrible.
Right.
They shouldn't be receiving hate mail and that sort of thing. But there were tons of others who were just kind of crushed because there are a lot of teenagers and kids who've kind of looked up to these guys, and it's really shaken their faith a bit. And so, I just wanted to toss out there that Christianity, belief in God, is something that can handle the big questions. It really, God is very big. He's not intimidated by our questions.
No.
And if you have questions, don't let those questions keep you from experiencing life in Christ, and don't be discouraged if someone else loses their faith. Right. So I was just trying to remind us, let's go deeper in, and if you have questions that kind of are your roadblock, it's like I would believe except for this.
Right.
That's something we should talk about together.
We should.
Not let that discourage you.
The thing is, the answers are there, but that's kind of a daily battle.
Yeah.
Anything in the media or on the radio, it tends to kind of question our belief.
Oh yeah.
In one way or the other.
Yeah, we are swimming upstream in the world of public culture. So I think that stuck with me. Don't let another person discourage your beliefs. Yeah, don't. So I amen that statement. However I said it. I still amen it.
So anyway,
don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't give up too quickly. Oh, look at us!
You might be at the end of the SD card.
Oh dear. Well,
maybe.
That was a great thing for us to be. We could have spent the whole thing talking about that.
I like it. Maybe we should expand on that.
We probably will need to. I'm sure we'll be talking more when you're back in town.
Yeah.
Let's see. What are we gonna do? We can't put like a drumstick over here for you.
Just
what are we gonna do?
Put my face on the kick drum.
We'll bring the cymbal.
Kick drum here. That'd be hilarious.
All right. Well, I will say one last thing here before we go.
Okay.
This is a behind-the-scenes thing. And by the way, if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the comments or to contact us.
And we'll address them on any next podcast.
Absolutely.
We get like questions on one podcast, or if it's big enough, maybe we'll do a special one.
Absolutely.
We
don't have the answers, but we want to wrestle through them. And I know that there are people out there who have if God really is who you say he is, then why does blah, 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 or whatever. Or why does he hate these people, or whatever. And just ask it. I mean, obviously, if you're using foul language in the comments, I might hide that, but we'll still address it. So if you have a question, just ask it.
But before you ask, why does God hate somebody, I'm trying to think of a place in the Bible where he hates a person.
I don't know. There's sins he hates, but not a person.
Right?
All right. Well,
we know what we do, but not us.
That's right. We can explore that further too. We're at 34.
That's probably a little more over there because we pre-rolled, but that's okay.
It's all right. It's okay. So,
any final words, bro?
Yeah, I was going to say one last thing, but we're out of time.
No.
I think we're out of time. We have to keep it for next time.
Hurry up.
Same bat time, same bat time.
Did you do the 10 o'clock?
No, I think it's time. I'll just say this. Am I on here?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we meet every Sunday at 10 o'clock at Arkansas Elementary School, and we would love to have you this Sunday as our guest. And you can discover more at compassdenver.com. I think we're going to have to wrap it up now, Trace.
Okay,
we're
all right. Anything else, bro?
Anything else more? John 3:16.
All right, love you guys. Love all y'all.
He says peace. Grace and peace.
That's right.
Grace and peace to you. That's all we have. We're out.
We're out.